What is up, beautiful people? We are back with another video, a very special video. Usually around this time, we'd be trying to figure out what we're going to do with our time for the next 2 months before the season starts. But FIFA have decided to, bless us with another competition. I wouldn't say bless for some of the European teams who are going to be playing another couple of games. But yeah, FIFA Club World Cup, the first of its kind in this iteration. And yeah, we thought we were just going to decide, let's just do a bit of a bracket on the FIFA website, just to kind of see how things are going to play out. So without further ado, let's jump into it.
Bro. Just your thoughts based on the tournament. The discourse of people saying, it's a money grab by FIFA and stuff like that.
I think you can tell this is from very different sectors. I'd say from the European market, they're the ones, the media from that side saying, this is a cash grab. Players are just like, this is what the welfare of players are not being considered. This is just the rich trying to make themselves rich. But if you gauge it from the South American aspect, from Africa, even from North America and Oceania, they're very excited about this competition. And I think, again, an opportunity to showcase genuinely all of the world's best. I'd say in terms of all of the world's at the club level. I think this is a very exciting competition. Obviously, we'll have to see what happens to make our assumptions as to what the competition is. But so far, I'd say I'm quite excited for it. Obviously, there's more football for us as the neutrals, as fans. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I have a horse in this race, bro. Mamelodi Sundowns. That's my team.
Yeah, fair. But yeah, I think overall, I'm excited from my point of view. I know that the discourse may be a bit, it's a bit. It depends wherever you're asking from, wherever you're looking from. But genuinely, I think this could possibly be something. The way that it could be, and depending how it pans out, I think it could be something exciting.
Hopefully, we get a stellar tournament.
Yeah.
Without further ado, the first group on the bracket, Group A, opening match, Ahly versus Inter Miami on Sunday. That would be an interesting fixture.
Very.
But we have Palmeiras from Brazil representing South America, and Porto from Portugal representing Europe, Ahly from Egypt representing Africa, and the host club nation Inter Miami representing the USA from Miami in this group. Right off the bat, I'm putting Inter Miami at the bottom of the group, bro.
Without even hesitating.
Yes.
I think most of these teams are going to be looking into Miami, just like, insert Ronaldinho meme, just like, I'm ready. Because again, I think in terms of Inter Miami as a team, obviously we know this is Lionel Messi and all his Barca friends, having a good time and nice proper holiday in Miami. But as a team overall, they've had a very tough season so far. They've defensively probably one of the more weaker teams in the competition. We don't watch MLS, but even just from the few highlights and things that we see, we can tell that they're not that good of a team. I don't feel, compared to the teams that are going to be in this competition, I really don't see how even Messi on his own. I don't know. It would be lovely just to see Messi, do what Messi can do, but he can only do so much.
I'm looking at Palmeiras, the level that they're playing at, the Brasileiro Serie A being one of the best leagues in the world. They're in the top 10. The Copa Libertadores, one of the best Confederation Club Championships. They're playing at a high level. Porto, they're playing in the Champions League in Europe. They're playing in the Portuguese League, one of the best leagues in the world. Ahly playing in the CAF Champions League, and they're also playing in the Egyptian Premiership. I think even at that level, we're still higher than North America. We're still higher than US in particular. And I'd say the CAF Champions League is tougher than the CONCACAF Champions League. I could say that. So I'm just saying these three teams play at a high level.
A much higher level,
than
have much tougher
now.
competition as well. So I think from that, I don't mind like that as well. Probably.
Also the physical levels, honestly.
Are you putting them first?
No.
I think obviously let's get to like the other teams first. But obviously Palmeiras, the team coming from Brazil, I think they've had success in the Copa Libertadores over the past couple of years as well, so they're a good team.
2022 to 2023.
Yes,
that's the reason they qualified for the tournament.
And I think overall, we know they have Estevao, the new wonder kid that's on everyone's mouth. Obviously, he's Chelsea bound. I think this is probably his last hurrah before going to Chelsea, and I'd imagine I feel like the way that they're looking, and again, also just adding, the Brazilian league started in March, so they're literally 11 games into their league season. So from a standpoint,
most of the leagues in the Americas, because MLS too, I think they follow that type of calendar where they start in March and end somewhere in November, December.
You know, so I think for obviously it's different for Inter Miami, but I'd say for Palmeiras that will work in their advantage. I do feel like they will have enough to top this group. Obviously, we'll have to look at Porto. I'd say you would say probably the weaker of the European representatives in this competition.
I think them and Dortmund are like tied for that as like the weak links of the European teams that are at this tournament.
Yeah.
But yeah, I reckon Palmeiras will finish top of this group.
Yeah, same.
Then it's Porto or Al Ahly.
I think Porto, obviously, again, European competition.
Yeah.
I'd say again, they're probably most of them are coming off of a very long season, so obviously there's going to be a lot of tired legs, fatigue. I don't know. Obviously, this is a new competition, so maybe they might be up for it. They might want to go at it and see how they can do it. And again, Diogo Costa, don't forget, he's coming off of a very, very impressive Nations League finals competition, and I would imagine he might be a very important. Obviously, I'm not saying they're going to rely solely on their goalkeeper, but he's a quality goalkeeper, and I don't know. Maybe in those tight banana skin games, those key integral players like Samu as well, who's been doing very well.
I mean, don't forget the great El Shanewi, bro.
Okay,
the veteran from Egypt.
Fair.
I think Al Ahly playing Inter Miami in the first game, that would tell me about what's gonna happen for their tournament. If they can show a convincing win.
Speaking of Al Ahly, Al Ahly again getting a new manager, a very familiar face for us South Africans. Jose Riviero. I'd imagine since he's only been there 2 weeks now, so he hasn't really had that much time. I think they played against Pachuca not too long ago. They had a friendly game. They lost that game on penalties. But overall, I don't know. We don't know what to expect from Al Ahly. They have brought in a plethora of players just even before Jose had arrived. So obviously they are going into this competition with an intent, because most of the time when the previous iteration, the Intercontinental Cup, was it called? Or previously? The previous iteration
the
FIFA
FIFA
Club World Cup. They had finished bronze, I think, on 3 occasions, if I'm not mistaken.
They also had a silver. They played a final against Real Madrid.
So that's what I'm saying when I'm thinking that, okay, they would want to go into this competition with a statement of intent. I don't know. I think, obviously, it depends. I think, for me, it's more a thing of how many goals they can score against Inter Miami. Which team can score as many goals against Inter Miami?
Palmeiras play Porto in their first game.
Oh,
so if they lose that one and Al Ahly get the 3-point advantage, their fixture will then tell us.
True. But no, I think, I don't know. Do you think Al Ahly have enough to make it possible?
If we're looking at the current situation, the odds are against Al Ahly based on the new coach coming in. If Marcel Koller was there, would have had a different chat about it. The fact that they narrowly won their league in Egypt, Pyramids pushing them to the brink. I think 2 points off the top. Also, Porto had like a lackluster season.
Yeah, they finished third in their division as well. And,
so I just think Porto, just on the quality players that they have Diogo Costa and Samuel, as you mentioned, and also Mora, this other youngster in Portugal that has been lighting up the Primeira Liga. I think that's also another player that I'm going to be watching closely.
This is going to be a big competition for players that are like very highly touted, just like putting themselves in the shop window.
Yeah.
And I think this would be a great opportunity. So I don't mind putting Porto second, I think, just because, again, maybe they're more used to like high pedigree games against high level competition.
Yeah.
So I think for that reason we can give them the tout. But yeah, it's a tight one, to be fair.
Yeah.
Moving on to Group B, PSG. From Paris, representing Europe. Atletico Madrid, also representing Europe, from Spain. Botafogo, representing South America, and the Seattle Sounders, representing North America. And on paper, you're looking at this group and saying, I mean, come on, foregone conclusion, come on, guys. But
I'm looking at Botafogo, bro. I think they're an interesting proposition for the European teams. Like you've mentioned, the American teams will have the advantage that their fitness levels are still like proper. They don't have 70, 60 games in the tank. They're looking good. They're looking proper.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Atletico Madrid. Yes, they are one of the elite teams in Europe. But I'm looking at their inconsistent season. They were in the title race, they were out of the title race. They were in the title race, they were out of the title race. They're losing to Espanyol, they're losing to Getafe.
On their day, they can. Thing is, they have a plethora of talent that most of the time can get them over the line. But I don't know. Obviously, it just depends which team, which Atletico will show up and against. And obviously, we know that we're gonna touch on PSG, but just specifically on Atletico, obviously Julian Alvarez, Antoine Griezmann, Saul and the like. Obviously, Solo, obviously Alexander Solo, Paul. You know, it from that reason, these are massive European names that we've seen.
World Cup winners.
Exactly. And I don't know, obviously Botafogo, they're currently sitting 6th in the Brazilian league right now.
11 games played.
Obviously, it's still early, but, you know, I don't know. I think, again, the South American teams, I think they will be more up for it. Definitely, they'll be more up for it than the European teams. And I'd say that would maybe be a contingent in terms of like those fine margins in terms of who wants it more. We always hear those platitudes, who wants it more,
But I just want to mention, Atletico Madrid have an Argentina contingent in their team.
A very Argentina contingent, true.
As you mentioned in the intro of the video, the South Americans are the ones that are looking at this tournament as like it's a big deal for club football. This is the highest level that your club can be at.
Because I think for these European teams, they play against each other all the time.
Yeah.
But for these smaller in terms of scale, obviously they're big in their own domestic leagues. But just like for them, they don't get an opportunity to play against these huge teams all the time. So, as I said, they might be more up for it than most teams.
But the South American contingent in Atletico Madrid is also an advantage for them because they know what this tournament means. Also back home, they know what it means. Looking at Corinthians winning the Club World Cup versus Chelsea in 2011. That was huge for South American football.
Massive moment.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, maybe Rodrigo De Paul being a world champion, winning a Copa America in the USA along with Angel Correa and Abu Molini and them, that would be something that a chip on their shoulder going into this tournament.
No, I agree.
And touch on PSG, I think
PSG, we know them. They probably best team in Europe. Obviously, they won the Champions League, so there's going to be a huge highlight and target on them just in terms of what they're going to be able to do.
One of the favorites, actually.
One of the favorites to take the whole competition, and I'm also excited to see how they're going to go about it. I'd say the president of PSG, Nasser Al Khalifi, was talking about how, you know, the hard work starts after the Champions League. And I would imagine if they're able to go and win this competition, that would really want to legitimize them seriously as a massive heavyweight in the European game, in the game of club football as a whole. So, but I have to mention again, Atletico and PSG played each other in the game match week 4 of the Champions League group stage, and Atletico won that game. I'm not saying, obviously, PSG had a very tough start to the Champions League campaign. We know this. They also lost to Arsenal. So I'm not saying that means but I'm just saying Atletico have that edge. And, you know, football is a crazy game.
Football is a crazy game.
It's a crazy game. Anything can happen. And also touching on Seattle Sounders.
Shout out, man.
We're just happy to be. And again, all of their games are going to be played in their home stadium. So there's going to be a huge, massive home contingent there. So obviously we don't know what that could mean, but I think obviously just the quality alone, I don't think it'll be enough. I think just them being there on their own, shout out to them. They've won a few MLS Cups, so they know what it means to win. But I don't feel like, again, just touching on what you said about Inter Miami, the quality of level that they play against is probably not the same. So I agree that probably PSG, Atletico gonna go through Botafogo, but that's another group to watch out for. And moving on to Group C. And now we have Bayern Munich representing Europe, Auckland City representing Oceania, Boca Juniors also representing South America, and Benfica representing Europe. And another group that you would think that, come on, European contingent, but it's a bit different this time. It's not the same, no?
It's very dicey. It's very dicey with this one. But I'm feeling Benfica, bro. Especially as I mentioned, they have a lot of South American players in their team. Otamendi is there, world champion at national level. He wants to perform like a year at club level. I'm looking at Benfica, bro, honestly. Benfica. Bayern, obviously, they have one of the most talented squads in the
Probably
whole
the best
tournament.
squads in the entire tournament up there, yeah.
But Leroy Sané has left. I'm not sure if they're gonna miss him like that.
No, I don't think he wasn't really like a big part of the team like that.
Yeah.
I think most of I'd say the only big miss that they're having now is Alphonso Davies, who suffered ACL. So besides that, they pretty much have their entire squad available and fit. I'd say fit in the sense that obviously they're all able to play. Again, fatigue, tiredness, they've had a long season themselves, so we don't know how they're going to be going into this, but obviously they would still want to go for it. But also Boca Juniors, we know, crazy footballing. And I think, again, the fact that this is in America, those Argentines are going to make their way.
They're going to be there.
They're going to be there.
They're going to be there. Also, in America, there's a lot of Latinos who love football.
Oh, yeah,
Who be there supporting Boca Juniors.
True, because obviously that's Maradona's team. Yeah. So obviously, damn. This is...
I think they'll have the home advantage in most of the fixtures. That would definitely overwhelm Auckland City. No disrespect to them. It makes the ties against the European teams much more interesting because Bayern playing in the Allianz Arena are used to the crowd being on their side.
Oh, yeah, true.
Benfica playing at the Estadio de Luz are used to the crowd being on their side. It'll be different playing in different territory. Especially against South Americans we know who are so passionate about football, bro.
Yeah, no, I think for me, I think we can probably just put Bayern first. I think just on quality alone. And I don't know. I think obviously Benfica, they've had this very long history of being like the team that have never won anything significant in the longest time. So obviously that's something that you kind of have to think about. I wouldn't read too much into it. I think on face value alone, I do think maybe Benfica might just might have enough.
Boca are second right now in Argentina.
Are they?
Yeah.
And they're also another team that started their league not too long ago.
Yeah, 16 fixtures played.
So, that's going to be another interesting thing to consider. But I don't know. What are you thinking?
I don't know, bro. I just love to see an upset, bro.
You thinking Boca Juniors?
Yeah.
Why not? Let's go for it. Go for it. Auckland City, fun fact about Auckland City, since Auckland City are a semi-pro team, obviously they won their New Zealand championship to get to this point. Yeah. But obviously I think the manager, he's a dentist. I think their striker is a window washer. If I'm like, you can check this. This is literally like, so I think for them, they're just happy to be here. Honestly,
yeah, bro.
They're just happy to be here, but we'll see.
We'll see what happens with them.
We'll see what happens.
Hey, but just make sure. I'm pretty sure Hurricane is looking at that face. Like,
of course, just to
that session,
obviously, because I'm imagining those types of players are looking at that golden boot. That would be a huge notch for the trophy captain. Yeah. But we'll see. All right. Moving on to
Group D.
Group D, we have Flamengo representing South America. Esperance de Tunis, representing Africa. Chelsea, representing Europe, and LAFC, a late inclusion in this competition after winning their playoff game against Club America to be here.
$10 million playoff, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm looking at Flamengo, who are currently top of their group right now. So they are in fine form. They're full of confidence and ready.
The best team in Brazil, best team on form right now in Brazil.
Precisely. Yeah. So I'm thinking again, they will be going for it. I think they have the likes. I think Jorginho, he recently moved there.
Yeah, he was there.
So obviously, he's very used to massive high level competition. Yeah. So I would imagine him being there would be a big plus.
Jason, I was watching the Brazil World Cup qualifiers. He was in the starting lineup.
Oh, okay.
Pedro, another option that has been a usual there at the Brazilian national team. Danilo, experienced European player. So I'm looking at this team. Everton Soares, who was starting at left wing, I think, when they won the Copa America in 2019. So I'm looking at this team. This team is a solid team, bro.
Very solid team.
Yeah.
And obviously, Esperance de Tunis, the team that you beat on your way to the CAF Champions League final.
Yeah.
That you lost. I just thought yeah.
Esperance, they're good defensively, but going forward, I don't think they offer much. And I'm looking at Flamengo and Chelsea.
teams that have a very wide variety of attacking talent. As well.
And they play attacking football. So I just feel like those two teams are the standouts in this group. LAFC, I don't know.
Hugo Lloris, what's this? Who else?
Carlos Vela.
Carlos Vela.
Yeah.
And also Olivier Giroud as well. So obviously there are a few familiar names, but again, same thing that we've said with the other MLS teams. I don't think MLS, as much as this is America, it's in America. I don't think the American teams are gonna have much luck in this competition. I think they're just happy to be there, just to be participating, have the fans come over, just make it. But genuinely, I think probably they might finish bottom of the group. I think maybe Esperance might have the edge from a defensive point of view. Maybe they won't leak in as much goals. I think Chelsea do have enough to go through. As to where they finish, that's going to be an interesting thing to see them against that matchup, Chelsea versus Flamengo. Obviously Chelsea, they just recently signed Liam Delap. Obviously he, as well as they've signed a few players, I think
Liam Delap is the only one that has been confirmed.
Okay, but obviously they have a plethora of great talent. Enzo Fernandez, who else, Moises Caicedo, Cole Palmer, and the like, Nicholas Jackson. So do you think they're going to finish top the group?
No, I think Flamengo is going to top this group.
Damn. Okay. All right. No, I mean, I don't mind it. I don't. Again, this is us just going off of what we know and what we're looking at. But who knows? Maybe they could. If this tournament has upsets, that would make it 10 times better. So, I think we can kind of move on from there.
Group E, we have River Plate from Argentina representing South America. Urawa Red Diamonds from Japan representing Asia, and Monterrey from Mexico representing North America, and Inter Milan from Italy representing Europe. Interesting group.
There's a lot happening at Inter right now. I think obviously they just lost. They lost the Champions League emphatically. So, and they have a new coach. Who's in terms of experience only has like 13 games at a high managerial level. But they have a good squad of players. We know what they can do. They're a very solid, great, tight-knit group who know how to play together. So on that alone, I do feel like maybe that could get them over the line.
The quality of Inter Milan surely gets them over the line. You have Lautaro Martinez, Marcus Thuram, Denzel Dumfries, Nicolo Varela, Bastoni, Jan Sommer. I think just based off the quality, even regardless of whoever is coaching, this team has enough to beat River Plate, Urawa Red Diamonds, and Monterrey.
Okay, and honestly, obviously River Plate, you think they... Obviously Monterrey, they have...
Sergio Ramos.
Sergio Ramos, I'm interested. Do you think that, his sauce, his aura might just be enough for...
I don't think so, because I'm looking at the Mexican Liga MX. They didn't put up something they in that league, because they finished 7th. And they weren't even part of the championship round.
Oh damn! So clearly, in terms of quality, probably not the highest level. In all intensive purposes. So
I'm thinking River Plate will definitely finish 2nd.
Fairs.
They have another young talent who has been, I'd say one of the rising stars in South America, Franco Mastantuono, who has been signed by Real Madrid, but he'll join them after this tournament, after River Plate. Kindly requested that he stays for this tournament specifically. He's gonna be one that I'll be watching, and I'm definitely tuning into River Plate games to see how Mastantuono performs. But if we move on to Group F, this is a group that me particularly
we're gonna be paying vested interest into. Obviously, Fluminense, FIFA B, Borussia Dortmund, Ulsan HD, thank you, and Mamelodi Sundowns. And off the bat, I have to ask, how do you feel like Sundowns are gonna do? Because again, people haven't really given you much of a shout. To be fair, you guys,
now we're in the top 2.
Oh,
definitely. I feel like we're going through. I feel like we're going through. Topping the table, I don't know. I'm looking at Dortmund's form in the running of their Bundesliga campaign. They were 10th. They were in the bottom 10 of the Bundesliga, and they made their way into the Champions League. Strong end to the season. Top
and
obviously
4. Quality players, Sergio Guirassy, Julian Brandt, obviously Karim Adeyemi, and co. I think they have enough to top the group.
Yeah.
I think so. I think definitely they have enough to top the group, and I don't mind putting I think Sundowns again. They've made it to the semifinals of the CAF Champions League over the past couple of years now.
Yeah.
So they have that pedigree of playing against high level continental competition. I think obviously we're saying this from a very biased standpoint, but it's fine.
But I'm also looking at Fluminense, like they were also in the Brazilian league. They narrowly escaped relegation last season. Also this season, 6 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses in 11 games. That seems like they're getting a bit of form.
Tough. Okay.
But I'm looking at Sundowns, the way that we've just dominated our local league. Obviously, PSL versus Brasileiro Serie A.
Very, very different.
Very, very different.
I think that's another thing, this competition. Different styles from different countries.
Yeah. But I'm looking at Bafana versus a B team Brazil. Right now, I feel like we have a match.
I feel
like we have a match. Yeah. And that's where I'm basing it, because Sundowns have a lot of Bafana players. Fluminense also have Brazilian internationals that they send through. But I feel like we can beat them.
Fair.
Yeah. Group G. Manchester City representing Europe. Wydad Casablanca representing Africa. Al Ain FC representing Asia. And Juventus representing Europe. I just want us to start with Juventus, bro.
Oh, yeah, a very mixed bag. A very mixed bag of a team. They don't even know who their coach is gonna be. I think
Igor will.
I think probably fair. But even then, I think it's just been a very unstable season. The past couple of years have been very. This is not the same Juventus team of old. So obviously a very young team with a lot of talented players, but I just feel like again we don't know which version is gonna pull through, because it's the same team that at a certain point had 12 doors by Christmas. So again, I don't know how they're gonna do. I do feel like they have enough to at least qualify in terms of just like the quality of the squad. The fact that they do still have quality players.
Kenan Neal's, I'm looking at the Cambiaso, I'm looking at Gatti, Di Gregorio in goal. I don't know if those players have enough to topple, have the experience enough to topple like unpredictable sides like we did at Casablanca now. I don't know.
I'm thinking, okay, obviously I think we can just put Man City at the top there. I think they, in terms of, I think probably up there with the best squads they've done in terms of their business. They've done very well over the past, like in terms of getting their players in for this competition. So I think they will comfortably finish the group top. I think second, it's between Wydad and Juventus.
Yeah.
And as much as I would like to think that Wydad can pull an upset, I just feel like the quality that Juventus have could just get them over the line. Even if I don't see them going that far. Yeah. But I do feel like I see them going, like making it out of the group overall.
This is a team that gets beaten by our Feyenoord, bro.
But that was a bit of a Feyenoord. You can't really fair.
I'm just saying, like, this is a team that
is this.
Column 1 is gonna be there.
Yeah, he will.
Locatelli is gonna be there.
They've extended his PSG. Is just like, you can stay. It's okay.
I think just based off quality, we can put Juventus second, Wydad and Al Ain at the bottom.
And
Group H. I think Al Hilal have made this group really interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah. By getting Simone Inzaghi as the new manager, also the transfer business that they have attempted to make. Just imagine if they had pulled off the Osimhen deal. That would have been a massive coup. Yeah. I think obviously Real Madrid, Al Hilal, Pachuca, and RB Salzburg. And off the bat, I think we can comfortably say that Madrid and Al Hilal will probably definitely. I think we don't need to kind of get into it. Obviously, them getting Inzaghi is a massive coup. Yeah, one of the best coaches right now.
That shows a very evident statement of intent to say that we want to showcase the Saudi Arabian league at the highest level and show what we're capable of, that we are a competitive league. And I would say they will. I don't think they'll play with any fear. I think they will definitely go for it. I do see them having a few good results. I think obviously Pachuca,
I mean, they played the Intercontinental Cup final in December, last December, but
I just feel like again, I don't know. I think again, and also the fact that Al Hilal has a lot of European contingent people that have played in Europe
Yeah.
at the highest level, people who have won Champions Leagues and the like and whatnot. So
They'll definitely have the most support because they're in Mexico. They're
oh,
Mexican.
so that's also another thing to
Yeah.
consider. So
Maybe third.
I think third place would be would be
Yeah.
fine. I think Salzburg. They I'm not trying to discredit them, but I think again they're a big fish in a small pond in their league. So I think the competition is very different. And obviously they historically do very badly in the Champions League like most of the time. So yeah, I think that's our group stages, and now we move on to the knockout. Interesting. Palmeiras versus Atletico Madrid. Off the bat, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking Palmeiras is gonna win this one, bro.
You didn't even hesitate. You didn't even flinch with that one.
I'm thinking Palmeiras is gonna win this one. Thing is, Diego Simeone in the knockout stages, bro. It's not.
He's not the
Diego
same.
Godin led team, Antoine Griezmann in top form. This one, bro, is like they crumble under pressure.
Sometimes, yeah.
This team, yeah.
True.
So I'm thinking Palmeiras, as you mentioned, their fitness levels are gonna be good. Estevao, they're gonna be one of those.
As well. Victor Roque, yeah.
They're gonna be one of those Brazilian teams who wanna like stake their claim at the world stage, bro. And beating Atletico Madrid.
I don't hate that. Genuinely, I don't hate that.
Yeah.
I think that they could be, if anything, I feel like they could probably be the dark horses going into this competition, and I don't mind that.
Them and Flamengo,
definitely. So, sorry Atletico, but yeah, that would be fun. Bayern versus Chelsea.
I think Bayern's gonna go through.
Yeah,
Bayern's gonna go through. Musiala, Kimmich.
Yeah, no.
Just looking at the quality that they have, Inter Milan versus Mamelodi Sundowns.
Okay.
This is a tough one.
What you thinking?
This is a tough one. I just think Inter Milan have the quality, bro. Still.
You reckon?
They still
think
have the quality.
This is the end of the road for you?
Yeah, this is the end of the road for us. At least next round.
I think making out of the group would be a great, because from what we're looking at now, it seems like you guys are going to be the only African team that makes it out of the group, which would be a huge notch to have. Going like if you would leave with your head held high, saying like, you know what, we went, we battled against the best of the best, and we showed ourselves. That would be, if you can play with no fear and just like go for it. But I do agree that probably Inter, the quality that they have, even though obviously, who knows, Who
knows? Maybe we might pull out an upset, but right now,
Inter Milan. Yeah, Inter Milan. Obviously now Man City versus Al Hilal. I do feel again just the quality of Man City on its own will really just
Pep
be
Guardiola, bro.
Pep Guardiola
but
again.
The matchups between Inzaghi and Pep have been
Inzaghi has had his number, but I think very different squads, different competitions, different circumstances. I do think it won't be an easy win, but I do feel like Man City will get the job done. I think the quality on its own will just get them over the line. PSG versus Porto. I think again we don't need to say much there. Flamengo, Boca Juniors.
This is a all South American clash. This is a tough one, but I reckon Flamengo.
Same.
I reckon Flamengo.
I think the quality they have, the form that they have as well, will really bode well for them at this point in the competition.
In Miami, this would be a cracking fixture.
Very. I think the atmosphere is going to be absolutely incredible if things pan out that way, of course. FIFA B versus River Plate.
I don't know. FIFA B, I don't know, bro. I don't know FIFA B.
Thing is, FIFA B on their day, they can literally go up to you and beat you 4-0 comprehensively. But they can also capitulate and lose 5-2 just out of nowhere. They're a mixed bag of a team. Unfortunately, that's just the fact of the matter. And Niko Kovac, I don't know how well. I think he did well to salvage a decent finish to the end of the Bundesliga season, but I don't know.
Also, he hasn't done well in inter-club competitions.
As well,
his time at Bayern, they had a bad run of form in the Champions League with him at the helm. I don't know. I just feel like River Plate will want this more in Dortmund.
I don't mind that. Genuinely, I'm willing to take it all the way. Just, go for it. And finally, Real Madrid versus Juventus. Big European clash. Once upon a time, a massive European final.
Two of the best teams in Europe,
At once upon a time. But now, obviously, I think Madrid, again, they're still a massive team. Again, they've done a bit of business themselves. And I do feel like the quality, it'll be a bit too much. I think this is the end of the road for Juventus.
Yes.
So yeah, move on to
Quarterfinals.
quarterfinals, and now it's getting a bit spicy. It's
Yeah.
getting a little bit spicy now. Palmeiras versus Bayern Munich, and
I don't know. Something's telling me that Palmeiras, bro. Palmeiras and Flamengo. One of these teams is making the semi-finals.
I can tell. You can tell that we really are batting for the underdogs to do something good.
Yeah.
I really do, and genuinely for me, I'm at a point now where I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, if they can just like get Bayern at the right moment, because obviously a lot of them will be tired by that point.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I think
I'm looking at Palmeiras.
I'm looking at a shock exit. I'm looking at a shock exit.
I'm looking at Palmeiras, bro.
Genuinely, if this actually goes through, that would be massive. That would be huge. Inter Milan versus Manchester City, 2023 Champions League final.
Yeah, replay. I think City.
I think City as well. I think City. I think the quality, Erling Haaland, Omar Marmoush. I think just the quality, and of course the new Brian Cherky,
Ait Nouri,
Tiani Rangers, Ait Nouri. Yeah. No. I think City get the notch there. PSG versus Flamengo. Unfortunately,
it's the end of
the road.
PSG is gonna win.
You played your best, but yeah, I think PSG again. I think PSG, I do see them having a very, very solid run going all the way. Obviously, we'll see, depending on who they play in the next round. And obviously, now River Plate versus Real Madrid.
They must do an audition, actually, if this actually happens.
Yeah. But again, I think Real Madrid just have too much for them. And now, when we talk about spicy, now things they've heated up now. Now we have semi-finals, Palmeiras. I think if Palmeiras can make it all the way to the semis, that would be a huge, huge, huge notch for not only them, but for South American football. Because obviously there's that debate of, European football versus if they can make it there, because it seems like they're going to be the only non-European team left from how we're looking at it. That would be huge. That would be massive.
But I still feel like Pep would want. They played. I think they played Fluminense, who were the best team in South America in the 2024 Club World Cup.
Yes.
Yeah, and Man City won convincingly.
Very convincingly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it won't be an easy fixture, but I see Man City going through.
And again, this is probably gonna be the standout fixture of the entire tournament, and for me, I genuinely don't know. This is such a right now on form, on confidence, on teams. This is probably the two best teams in this competition.
Yeah.
But how is it gonna go? How do you feel like this is gonna go?
Xabi Alonso versus Luis Enrique. Interesting.
Honestly speaking, I think Madrid will want to have a good go. I think Florentino Perez will probably tell Xabi Alonso saying, we would really love to win this competition.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking Luis Enrique, just as a manager, the team, the quality, the confidence that they're on right now, they're on a high.
Yeah.
Probably the best midfield in Europe right now. And I think Xabi Alonso, this is probably his first go at it with his team. He's still trying to figure out who his players are, what his formation is going to be. I'm edging it to PSG. I don't know.
Same.
Really? Okay. Same. I thought you were gonna. Okay. Yeah.
Same. But I do see Real Madrid. If they go through, we wouldn't be surprised.
We wouldn't be surprised. I think that's a game. If it happens this way, it's gonna be a very tight game. It's gonna really be the finest of fine margins. But I think for the purpose of this bracket that we're doing now, I'm edging it to PSG.
Yeah.
So. And there we have our final, unsurprisingly, an all-European final.
all final,
actually. Yeah. So, a bit boring, I know. But I think, again, on two teams, two brilliant managers, two treble winners, and two of probably the best squads at this tournament. How do you see this going? This one really... This could be a massive game. I think this will be at the MetLife Stadium.
Yeah.
The same stadium that will host the World Cup final a year from now.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking PSG, bro.
You don't think Pep might have something for Luis Enrique? Or do you feel like again
I just feel like the run of form that PSG have been on, honestly. that would edge them, bro. Honestly, the quality in midfield, I'm looking at João Neves and Vitinha. I know Rodri will be back with Reinders, but they'll have to still form that partnership with Reinders and Shirky in at the 10 position. I don't know, man. I just feel like PSG with Ousmane Dembele, Desiree Doué.
A huge competition for Ousmane Dembele.
Yeah.
He can like have a great tournament going into this final.
Yeah.
You know, again, a lot of talk, golden ball, and I think if he was able to kind of like have an impressive performance against an opposition like this, that could really bode well for him. And obviously just the squad as a whole. I'm just going off of the fact that they're on a high right now.
Yeah.
PSG seem like they're a machine that are just moving towards really being a serious team with a massive intent to just be one of the biggest in the world. And I think this is going to be their crowning moment. I do think PSG are going to be the inaugural winners of the FIFA Club World Cup in this iteration.
Yeah.
And boom, there you go. So far, I think I didn't mind that. I think we did a pretty good job just looking at just all the teams. A nice little dark horse story just for the football hipsters, you know. Just
but Palmeiras beating Atletico in Bayern.
That would be huge. That would be huge.
Yeah.
That would be huge. But again, this is just our 2 cents. We just obviously we just thought that like we just have a bit of a summarization of what we think the tournament is how it's gonna play out and everything like that. But let us know what you guys think of our bracket. Do you think we got it right? Did you think we got it wrong? Please let us know what you think. Who do you think is gonna go all the way? Who do you think is gonna be the top goal scorer? All those, please let us know. Interact with us. We have a lot of great content on the Club World Cup on its way. But yeah, from Mo and VJ here at No Foul Plays at 8. Stay tuned in.
Go.